Hello there. Today I'm going to tell you how I did this animation in Adobe After Effects. Bear with me because this is, as always, very easy.
Kinetic type series.
So here I am. I have this composition. Let's check the specs here. It is a square format resolution, kind of big, because that way if I export it, let's say to 1080 by 1080, it's going to look always great. So this is the text layer, which is going to be the main thing to play with. And the first thing that we need is here in the shapes. We need an ellipse tool. I selected it, and I need to have the layer selected as if I would be making a mask on it, and then it's a matter of clicking and dragging while having Control and Shift pressed. That way it is going to expand from the center and always maintaining a perfect shape. But now what we have is a mask, and obviously that's not what we want, but yeah, for now that's okay. The next thing that we need to do is we open here the text attributes in the layer. Let's expand this a little bit so that we can see. And in path options we have here this menu where instead of none we need to say mask 1, which is like the shape that we already created here. So mask 1, so that's okay. So now here in path options, in perpendicular to path, we need to say off, and that way whenever we come here to the first margin and we move things around, the letters are going to stay always upwards. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to do is if we click twice on the layer, the character or text controls are going to be here on the right. So we are going to play a little bit both with the tracking and with the size of the letters. So let's open the tracking here in this control. Okay, something that really allows to distribute the letters throughout the path, and also I'm going to make them bigger. Okay, so it's these two things working together what are going to give us this nice even distribution of the text. And now we are going to animate this, and for that I'm going to go to the beginning here, and also I think that 4 seconds is going to be enough. So I'm going to hit N to make the preview area tighter. And now you know this trick where I come here and I right click, and if I go with trim comp to work area, boom, my composition is going to be that length only. Going back into animating this, I come to the beginning of my timeline. I click here on first margin, and I'm going to the last frame, very last frame here. And what I need to make a perfect loop is I need a reference. So for that you need the rulers. If they are not visible, you just click Ctrl and R. That's the shortcut for that. And for example, let's play a little bit with this control here to see what way we need them to spin. Okay, I would say it needs to go to a positive number. Yeah, something like that. So if at the beginning, for example, I create this guide here for the G, that means that at the end, the G needs to be at the very same point. Okay, so if I go to the end here and I keep going up with this number with a little bit of patience, because you know this takes time, but we are going to have something very cool. So, and also the trick to have a perfect loop is that it doesn't go to the same spot, but a little bit earlier, so to say. So going back here, it needs to go a little bit forward, something like that. And now it's a matter of checking it out, just hitting the spacebar. The loop is perfect, But now I'm going to adjust a little bit the composition because the text is a little bit up here. So what I tend to do is I always work with either this, like the title action save guides, which are these things here that are very handy, or I create some custom guides. So I'm going to go with those. The thing is that on the bottom we need to move the whole thing, so I can just move the whole layer. So I move it down until it optically feels correct. Here, when it comes to texts, the alignment tool sometimes is not that handy, and you need to trust your eye and your brain. So let's play it 2 or 3 times until we feel it is perfectly centered. You know, because when it comes to creating these very graphic and very mechanical animations, the way you make your compositions, it is super important. So it is just that easy. Let's go back a little bit here to open this. And the only thing that we changed from the path options is the perpendicular to path control. Then it needs to be disabled. And then we animated it with the first margin. Remember that you need a guide to just create your loop, and that's it. You know, make your own things, and also remember that the concept that you play with is super important. For this animation, I got inspired by Calango's design for this bicycle brand, Minute Cycles. Calango is a studio from the Netherlands, and they create amazing graphic and motion design. So I invite you to go there and really get inspired by the work of Calango. And I don't know, not much more to say here. See you in the next one.
Kinetic type series.